Hello and welcome to Empower to Impact, Women Driving Innovation in Clean Energy and Entrepreneurship. My name is Joy Obona and I'm the host for today. And with me in the studio is one of the participants of the Empower to Impact program that was supported by Climate-KIC. Today, we'll join her on her journey to get to understand her history and then get to understand the impact that she's making so far. It is great to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, so I think we should get started by getting to know you better. So can you kindly introduce yourself?
Okay, hello. My name is Nafisa Ismail. I am a biologist and I hold an MSc in environmental biology. So actually, I stand between the intersection of science, education, and sustainable innovation. That is in clean technology. And I'm glad to be here today to discuss some of the challenges that are involved in the sustaining the challenges we have in the energy space, and I'm glad to be part of those that will be driving this change in order to bring a sustainable innovation in this space.
Oh, that's good to know. Quite a portfolio you have there. I know there are a lot of green businesses out there, but I'm curious though. So I don't know if it's possible, but I would love to know, like, what really motivated you? What was your inspiration behind starting a clean energy business?
Actually, I am the founder of HANAP's Centralizing Delicacies. From the beginning, it was basically a food business, but then along the way, we discovered that there is need for us to innovate, basically on the clean energy, on the aspect of looking at the amount of energy we are using in production, that is in our organization. So we feel there is a need in order to bridge this gap under the energy. So we started distributing the clean cooking stoves. We started using it in our own organization, and then started enlightening other women to use these clean energy stoves. What drives the idea is from our experience, because we were in the space and we know what it takes, the energy we spend, a lot of it. And as a food brand, we feel that we shouldn't just specify, we shouldn't just stop there as being, yes, there is need for us to change this perspective on use of clean energy, because a lot of women are not enlightened about it. And there is a belief or a myth that we have using the traditional existing cooking methods that we have been using is the best way, without exploring the new innovations we have. So we feel there is need for us to start using it before, and that was how we started.
I mean, I was actually going back to this because I know there were other means that we were using before the clean cooking and everything came about. So I'm just glad you had to touch up on that. Right. Now, I do know that every journey has these moments, the highs, the lows, everything. So I would like to know, like, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced as a woman when you started, and how were you able to navigate through it?
Actually, the major challenge was the one I called the double burden. That was the first one. It has to deal with, we realized that we spend a lot in the energy and not in a clean way, because we cause a lot of pollution in the environment. So we now thought about it as, what are those ways that we can leverage as an organization in order to help in making, this climate change that we have, and how do we contribute in making sure the climate is sustainable and reducing the emissions from our organization, which leads to the depletion of the ozone, which inversely can affect the climate change. But then I come to realize that, because I have a data background, I'm a data analyst at the same time, that we need data for that. So we started with ourselves, looking at the data, the existing ones, how much we spend on these methods that we have been using, traditional methods that we have been using. And then we begin to use that data to compare the new innovations we have, the ones that we are now using, to see which one do we spend more. We came to realize that the previous ones that we have, that we think we can't leave, the traditional ones, they are faster, and a lot of things we spend more on that, and they are the ones causing the pollution we have, and inversely affecting our health and the health of those that are working in that condition. because as a food brand, we are into processing, so definitely we deal with this energy. We cook a lot. So there is need for us to take care of our staff and ourselves before even the environment and the community we are at large. So through that data, we were able to know that even the existing energy, the existing ones we are using are safer and are healthier. So that was how we started. But then also, as a woman, you know, in this kind of space, it was a bit difficult from the beginning. But with enlightenment with the women, I have to go down the grassroots. I have to even make it a practical experiment. I went with the stove to the community, showing them how it works, its benefits, the advantages of using it, and how it's being used. And I have some discussion with most of the vendors. There are food vendors, you know, these women. Some of them discuss. I asked them how much do they spend, like in a week, on that, the firewood and the charcoal they mostly use. I came to realize that if they are to buy gas, natural gas, or to use the clean energy stove which we introduced, is much more cheaper and more convenient and healthier at the same time. So they begin to accept that, and which was one of my proudest and happiest moments, the moment they start to realize that link between their health and the kind of cooking methods they've been using, because they don't usually consider that. A lot of them can't see clearly. During the training we have with those 20 women that we trained in the community, we carried out the training, a lot of them cannot even see clearly. And looking at the history, most of them were as a result of those smokes. They use wrappers in order to lit fire. They use a lot of things which are harmful to their health. So it's one of the challenges, and one of the ways I was able to overcome these challenges with them accepting our innovation. It's part of the things that I was able to use in order to overcome that challenge. Then one important thing that I wouldn't want not miss, my husband. He was very understanding, and yes, I have that full support at home in my private life. And this proves the fact that when a woman has a full support in her private life, she can be able to achieve more and do as expected in the public sphere. So these are part of the things I did.
Yeah, I think I agree more with you. When you talked about your husband, right? Yes, because I can speak very well for my father, right? Because my mom was able to do a lot because she had someone that was very supportive. So yeah, I can relate to that. So that's nice knowing that. All right. So I would like to know, the Climate-KIC project, like that's the Empower to Impact program that CTH organized, that was supported by Climate-KIC. How did you get to know about it? Because I know there are a lot of opportunities out there.
Yes.
So how did you get to see this opportunity and decide that this is the right one to go for?
Actually, I saw the advert on LinkedIn, so I decided to give it a try. Okay. Mostly, let me say, from the community I come, we were a bit, let me say, like skeptical about applying for this kind of opportunities. So I decided to give it a try. We applied, like the participants were much, but then at the end of it, we were given a project to carry out it, and then we pitch our businesses. So even during the pitching, they were to select 20 women that will go to the grassroots, and other 10 women, and train another 20 women. Each one of us trained 20 women. So after the pitching competition, we are told that they will get back to us. So after quite some time, I didn't hear anything from them. So I thought I didn't scale through, but then later on I received an email, a congratulatory email, that I have I'm now part of the 10 that will go down the community to cascade it back to the community development to train other 20 women. So that was how it started. And in Kaduna State, Kaduna North precisely, I trained 20 women on this clean technology. Yes. And I'm telling you, these 20 women, it's not that we train the 20 women only, because right from the onset of the program, from the beginning, those 20 women were like serving as advocates in their communities. Yes, so they have been disseminating the information, the impacts, the advantages of using this clean energy cooking stoves especially, and they have been advocating for it within their environment, and a lot of women have been coming that they also want to be part of it, but due to the number that has been assigned to the project, yes, we stick to that 20 women.
Yeah, but that's amazing. But I still believe that the impact will flow beyond the 20.
Exactly.
Because you made mention of the people you worked with, that they were already advocates. Exactly. So it's expected that they will take the work further, right?
And if you observe that, not mostly the women, those 20 women are not the only one living in their houses, in their communities. Okay. You find out that there are a lot of other women. So they have been advocating to other women. Okay. Some are with their parents, because it's like the participants were diverse, both including women, the aged women, the adults, the young, and the disabled.
Amazing.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. You did a quite a job, and that's well noted. Anyways, all right. So I would like to know, like, since joining the program, how has the program changed you personally and professionally? And by that way, we also want to find out, like, what specific skills or knowledge did you gain along the way?
Actually, this program has really impacted in me. It has paved the way for me to gain more knowledge on the clean energy space, because the training was conversational, was interactive. The women were free. One of the challenges I faced was most of them doesn't know how to speak English, so I have to be translating. But then it turned out to be an advantage to me, because they were able to speak out their minds, feel free, say So from there I gained a lot, and then it's made me also go back to the drawing board, read about it, did more research on this clean energy space, and it sparked my interest again in the energy space. And right now I've been carrying out a lot of trainings on it, and all thanks to Clean Technology Hub for this opportunity, because they were the ones that started.
Amazing. That's quite a lot. Yeah. From the reports we've had so far, one of the unique aspects of this program is actually the community phase.
Yes.
Right. Because just like you said, at the grassroots levels. So being one of the 10 selected to train the 20 individuals in your community. So can you tell us about your experience during the community development phase? The community development, because we are so much interested in that phase, so we want to know what it was exactly like.
The experience was excellent. It was superb, dealing with this kind of women. Most of them are elderly, but they were able to give me that maximum cooperation. At first, I didn't expect that from them, but when we started the program, they really accepted the program. And the basic challenge that I faced was what I said, how to communicate, and then this digital literacy of eating. But when I was able to find out their weak points and how to overcome it, then we came into terms. I was able to translate a lot of things, break it down to their level. They were able to understand clearly what this clean energy is all about. I can tell you now, they can explain what ozone is.
Amazing.
How climate change affects the atmosphere in general. They can, but in their own dialect. So
that's
to me,
the beauty of it, actually.
To me, it's really an achievement.
Okay.
Yes. But I think that's the major challenge. I expected maybe the numbers wouldn't be much, but I realized they were consistent throughout the program. And a lot were even coming that they also want to be part of it. But just like I have told you, they are supposed to be 20. So we stick to that 20.
Hey, that's amazing. You know,
but hoping to extend if an opportunity comes.
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Yes.
You know, it's actually amazing because that's why I said at the community level, right? Because this conversation is very, very important to us, right? You know, and I was actually coming to the challenges because we would like to know the challenges you encountered during the course of the program. But two things that I can pick out so far is one, you made mention of the language barrier, and then you talked about the skill gap with respect to digital skills,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Now, those two I can understand very well right now. But aside those two, were there other challenges you encountered?
No, there wasn't.
Oh, so these were the major
Yes.
challenges, and you were able to mitigate them very well. All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so we would like to ask, based on the reception by the community residents, how can you explain it? How was the reception like? How did they respond to the initiative that you brought to them?
They actually embraced it right from the beginning, because to me, in the first place, the where I carried out the training wasn't where I was residing.
Okay.
So when I thought where I was residing, if I were to carry out this training there, they might not really embrace it, because mostly they are all into this, already into clean energy. But I went down to a community where they are still left behind on the aspect of using this clean energy and everything. So to them, it was a new thing. Most of the things we taught, most of the things we discussed about, and the practicals we carried out with them, were new to them, because they are less privileged, if I may say so. So they really embraced the initiative, and it was really welcomed by the communities.
That was amazing. I love the approach, right? Because this is a rare opportunity, you know, to get those people on board. And instead of wasting the idea on existing,
Yes.
right, I love the fact that you had to take it to a place that really needed it. So thank you so much for doing that, anyways. So looking back now, right, are there any success stories or moments you're particularly proud of?
Yes, there are a lot. We didn't just teach them how to use these clean energy stuffs and everything. We also involved entrepreneurship, because it was part of the training, the Empower to Impact gave to us. And so part of that, we were able to talk to them how they themselves can key into this space locally from their own perspective. It's not something to stop them from using their existing cooking stoves and traditional one. Is something that is going to be difficult at a time, stopping them at a time. It's something that will have to be gradual, but then there are steps they can carry out before they can reach there. And so we begin to talk about how did they even source this charcoal and firewood that they use for cooking. And we now explain to them the kind of charcoal they are supposed to be using for this energy cooking stoves. They can not just start using solar and natural gas in one day. Looking at the kind of community I told you I went to, yes, but educating them and enlightening them on the kind of this charcoal, because there are a lot of them out there. Most of them are harmful, while some of them are not dry, which generate a lot of smoke that pollutes the environment. Their environment affects their health and inversely affects the climate. So we enlighten them on the kind of charcoal they are to be using, let it be dry, and how they will be able to differentiate between the good one and the one that they are not supposed to be using, and also guide them on places they can get these clean cooking stoves, and see a possible way of them keying into this kind of businesses so that they can be able to enlighten other women within the community.
All right. Before I ask you the next question, I remember when you said that some of your participants were already advocates.
Yes.
Were you able to track to see if they were doing other things, like did they take it back and
Actually, they did. We have reports, we have pictures, we have interviews, evidences from what they have been doing. And then after the training, we went back to see if really, and some of them have have even started live their own traditional method of cooking. Some of them have left the firewood and now are using the clean cooking stove.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Oh, that's what I wanted to know actually. So I would like to ask, with everything you've experienced so far, what are the biggest lessons you've learned from this journey?
One of the biggest lessons I learned is information is key. Most of them are not informed because they are not opportune to be there. But if programs like this will be able to track down people that are in need, and then whatever ways that we are going to bring in the clean energy space, especially here in Nigeria, the transitional processes, we should be able to carry out the communities that are going to be using those processes. Let us carry them along. Let them be part of the design, because by so doing they will be able to embrace it fully and they will be aware. So whenever we have trainings like this, we should try as much as possible to make sure that it reaches the communities that are in need. Let it not be hanging, or let it not be where it has already been there. Let it be carried out to the grassroots, to women that are in need.
I agree with you. I so much agree with you, because of what use is it if actually it's already been done before then. Yes. So if we can go to the grassroots, just like you did in
value
case.
it more.
Yes.
They value the training more, and they are going to embrace it more. So that is why I say mostly it's lack of information and inclusivity.
I agree with you. I so agree with you. Okay, so one more, another question for you anyways. So for other women who are thinking of starting a business, and by that I mean the clean energy business, what advice would you give them?
Okay, the most important advice I'm going to give them is, you don't just start a business. Identify a problem. What problem are you going to solve through this business? Not just starting a business. That won't be sustainable. But if you are able to identify a problem that you will be able to solve through that business you are starting, it's going to be sustainable. And you should try to, as much as possible as women, relate the business you are starting. Make sure the problem you are solving is something socially or environmentally. It's going to make a great impact, not only to women, to the community at large. So for any business we are starting out there, we should be able to identify a problem.
I agree with you, because you know, when I was thinking about this whole stuff, I remember, like, I'm going to ask you this question. I started laughing to myself, because I know a lot of people, they ventured into businesses not necessarily because they want to solve a problem, but because they want to make money.
Yes.
Right. So I don't know how long that is going to last, because if you're not solving a problem, then to me you're not doing anything yet.
Most of those businesses are not sustainable.
Yeah.
And for any business to be sustainable, let there be that problem. For as long as you have a problem to solve, then I think the sky is going to be your limit.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. All right. Okay. So, lastly, from your experience in the program, what advice or recommendation would you like to give to us for future projects like this?
Okay. The major advice is try and increase the number.
Okay.
Yeah. The 20 women, actually. Thank you for that. There are a lot of organizations out there that haven't done this kind of thing. But my advice is, if you can be able to increase the number so that it can reach other women, just like I told you, these 20 women, you are not just training the 20 women. Inversely, these 20 women, each woman can train another 20 women.
Exactly.
So if you calculate how many women are you impacting, so if the number can be increased, I think it's going to go a long way.
So just on the number.
Yes,
just on the number. All right, thank you so much. I believe, I believe so.
Sorry, let me add something. Okay. Not only the number, but try to make sure it reaches the people in need, the community in need. Yes.
Increase the number.
Yes.
But while increasing the number, take it to the right people.
Exactly.
I hear you loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear. Okay, that's so amazing. Thank you so much, Nafisa.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you aboard. Thank you for the amazing work you did in that community. You did an absolute nice job, and we are super proud of what we were able to achieve in that quite number of months. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right.
Grateful.
All right. So till next time, I remain Joy Obona. Thank you for watching this session.